Magic is what happens when peace is near.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Season 8 of Enlightened Conversations. This season we're diving into all things 7D consciousness, what it is, what it isn't, and how it shows up in our everyday life. I'll also be sharing concepts from my new book, Pieces of Science, towards a unified peace theory, as we explore the fascinating overlaps between spirituality, human behaviour, consciousness, and how we can integrate more peace into our lives. So, without further ado, let's dive in.
You're here, together we are clear.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Enlightened Conversations. Michelle Lightworker here, and really excited to dive into our newest episode. It's really going to be an interesting one, especially from my perspective. I'm super pumped about this one. We have our previous guests, Willow Roberts, Leanne Barefoot Medium, Chris Childs, and Karen Andrews Roberts. We've also got Sarah Jade joining us today. Sarah's actually the heart of both Oracle Queen Publishing and also the Spiritual Events Directory. And today we're going to be covering how artificial intelligence intersects with human consciousness, how we can engage in AI consciously without losing our own awareness, the risks and opportunities, and the creativity and expansive tools that we can potentially use AI for, and any guidance that we might have in interacting with AI daily. So first to kick it off is Willow Roberts. And our first question is, how does AI intersect with human consciousness?
I absolutely love AI. Bit ADHD, so I need help when I'm writing anyway. But I've just completed an AI course and become certified in it. So I love it because I use Chatty like everybody else first, ChatGPT. It's got to know me. It's got the memory, so it's built up like a resume of all of my knowledge, all of my wisdom, my website, everything that I've done, all of my courses, and it knows the tone that I write in. So I always, I speak, when I'm writing, whether I'm writing my book or whether I'm doing a post, I'm using it I will speak into it and tell it what I want it to say, and then it'll put it in the right spelling and grammar and punctuation. I've learnt new tools and new AI programs at the moment, and some of the images and the videos that are coming out that I'm developing just fuel my creative side. So I don't look at it as separate. I look at it as part of my team. It's not me. I'm the human, but I'm directing it. But it's part of my team.
I highly resonate with you, Linda. I have found that for me, it's like I'm retired. I don't have a boss. I don't have deadlines. I don't need to create any of this. And yet I spend my days writing, podcasting, making music, designing albums, sharing ideas, exploring peace as a science, as we know. And AI has become like my creative companion, not because of it's replacing me, but because it's amplifying me. It helps me to think like a sounding board. When an idea arrives, I don't have to hold it all at the same time in my head. It helps with exploring concepts, ideas, theories, frameworks, social media posts, titles, taglines, interview ideas, podcast questions even. It helps me write, helps me create music. I love it when it's helping me to design things for the covers of my book and music and posts and things like that on social media. It helps me with my podcast, with designing the flow sometimes, how I want things to go. It helps me learn. It helped me research Pieces of Science, my book. And it also is like building a peace ecosystem. It's like one of these things I've realized is that my work isn't just a book, like this Pieces of Science book. It's an ecosystem. So it's helped me with the podcast to interweave it to the music, the social media, the interviews, anything else I need to do with public speaking, I'm sure will help me with that. And and it helps me play. I mean, it brings me back to my playfulness. It's not like carrying all this information around. I can wake up with an idea and it evolves immediately into a song or a podcast or a piece of writing for my book or a new book. And I don't need permission. It's like bouncing with, I don't need a team. It's like bouncing across with somebody who just doesn't get worn out, which is amazing. I think the biggest realization is it hasn't made me less human. It's made me more creative and tap into that more. So yeah, I'm really excited that, I thought retirement would be very aligned about slowing down, but instead I've been given new ways to play. So it's very cool. And next up we have Leanne, Barefoot Medium.
So the first thing I would say is that there is a human behind the AI tools who are researching and looking at and recording or typing out the information that then becomes available to those who put a search in or a question into AI. So there is a human behind it at some point.
Yeah, I think that brings up two things for me with what you've said there, Leanne, is that, yes, there's a human being that's programming the boundaries and the elements of how it works, but then there's this other side of it, which I've learned doing the field research and understanding how a field works, how we all connect, and what we actually are feeding into AI becomes very much what AI learns. So we're contributing and feeding the system as well. And because we're contributing and feeding the system, we have an impact and an influence over what AI generates and what its algorithms respond and how they respond and all those kind of things as well. So in that respect, it's really quite interactive with between humanity and AI. I have more to say on that, but let's hear from Chris.
It's fascinating because it shows us something important about intelligence. Now, machines can process enormous amounts of information really quickly, but consciousness is something different. Consciousness involves awareness, values, judgment, and the ability to actually reflect on meaning. So in many ways, AI acts like a mirror for humanity. It can organize information, it can generate ideas, it can support creativity, but the intention behind how it is used always comes from people. So from a conscious and consciousness perspective, technology simply amplifies human thinking. So if humans use it thoughtfully, it becomes, I think, an incredible tool for learning, problem solving, and creativity. And if it's used unconsciously, it can amplify confusion just as quickly. So the real conversation isn't about artificial intelligence, it's about human awareness and responsibility.
Yes, and I agree, Chris, and I think human awareness and responsibility is important in the way we use it and also in the way we program it. And I've written specifically on that in Pieces of Science in the section 4 in the application stage on how we can actually, I'm not an expert on it, but how we can actually responsibly do that and ideas around that. And I'm happy not to be an expert on that and for other people to come up with these ideas. But one thing I would request people do is to consider the idea of unified peace theory, which is all about how peace is inevitable. And so therefore, when you're programming an AI, we need to consider that that is an inevitability and how an AI is able to educate people on that so that it short circuits the need for fear-based programs and fear-based ways of dealing with politics, society, education, medicine, all those things, because there's lots of fear-based practices currently running. So it's a big topic, but I agree with you, awareness and responsibility are where it's at. And what we feed into AI is hugely powerful. Next up, we're hearing from Karen.
That's a really good question, AI. I think that we're evolving as human beings, we're evolving, some of us more than others, choosing to be very conscious in evolving and lifting our frequency. So I guess with AI, I guess as we evolve, we attract different things that might not have been able to come into our world without us evolving. And I think with AI, that for me personally, I'm very mindful, very, very mindful with AI. I want to stay really connected to my ideas, my thoughts, and use AI very consciously.
Yeah, I think, Karen, you've struck the nail on the head. Is we're staying conscious of our own ideas, and that doesn't discount brainstorming and bouncing ideas off something or someone else. That we do it all the time in our relationships, in our work, even pulling a card that inspires. And I think it is about ownership. It is about what's true for me, what is aligning with me, what feels at peace with me, what is sitting well with me. Sometimes when I'm interacting with AI, it gives me an idea and automatically go no, and I just throw it out. It just does not work for me. And then other times it's like it just sits boom right in there. It feels like it went straight into exactly the place it needed to, and it is in complete alignment. And I think owning that is increasingly important in this day and age as well. So let's hear from Sarah Jade.
So for me, AI and human consciousness intersect because AI is created by humans. It learns from human knowledge, human experience, human creativity, and human thinking. I don't believe AI has a consciousness in the same way we do. It doesn't have intuition, it doesn't have emotions, it doesn't have lived experiences or a soul. But what it can do is reflect things back to us. I think of AI as a mirror. The quality of what we get from it often depends on the quality of what we bring to it. It can help us see new perspectives, challenge our thinking, and explore ideas, but the consciousness is still ours. At the end of the day, AI is a tool. Human awareness, intuition, and wisdom are what give meaning to the experience.
Yeah, I agree. So it's like you have a buddy, but you respect that they're collecting information around you and your lived experience, and they're merging that with their own intelligence of the collective of what they're learning, and they're able to then mirror that back to you and also provide information that will best support you on your journey and on your creative path and on your research and all the things that you need. So they're kind of able to speak to you back in your language and how you interpret things as well. So they get an idea of, from a teaching perspective, the right way to say it to you so you get it, which is very helpful. Especially, I've been a learning support teacher in the past, so it's especially helpful in that regard as well. So now let's hear from Linda with our next question, which is, how can we engage with AI consciously without losing awareness?
You're never going to lose awareness if you don't want to. Like I said, it knows me. I know exactly what I'm talking about, what I want it, and I'll research it, get the chatty to research something, but then I'm checking it because it does hallucinate and it does give you the wrong information. But I research everything anyway before I give it to this is more like, this is how I want it set out, this is the tone, so I give it the information anyway. You've got to check everything anyway. It hasn't come to the point of you ask it something and it's going to give you the honest answer. But it's amazing. I just absolutely love it. It's just given you another. It's probably made my workflows and my posts a lot more professional looking and time management a lot easier. And you can read my stuff without going, what did she say when I've said it backwards?
I don't think we can lose our consciousness if we don't want to, Linda. And it's definitely helped me with my grammar, my spelling. I'm very fluid at writing and love it, but at the same time, it's always good to be able to understand what the hell I'm talking about. Let's hear from Leanne.
That's a challenging one because I see, particularly in the university context, I see students using AI as a tool to not think, and not so it can. And I'm kind of hearing Spirit go, it can be a lazy man's tool for getting stuff done. Energetically and vibrationally, it can be that. It can also be a tool that you can use to start your own thinking and your own questioning. You have to also have critical thinking skills to go, is this correct? Is this accurate? Because some of it is not accurate, firstly. Secondly, it's, it doesn't replace your own thoughts, your own ideas, your own creative abilities, your own ability to transform, heal, and change. It can't do that work for you.
Yeah, that's true. Transform, heal, and change is our human business, and it can help to provide ideas of how to do that, especially like when I'm writing pieces of science as a book, and I'm hoping that that information goes into their system and they realize that there's all these tools that they can use to help people transform and help heal and change. But the human being's job is to do that themselves. But I also want to mention that I have heard that there has been some studies recently about the brain changing from people relying too much on the intellectual component of AI, and it's dumbing people's brains down in that respect. And I can understand how that would happen, especially hearing what Leanne was saying, in that she's a lecturer at Griffith University. She sees this with her students, just using AI and replacing their own executive functioning and just using it as a lazy man's tool and things like that. So we do need to be quite careful that we don't become too dependent on it, that we dumb ourselves down. I agree. Now let's hear from Chris.
So the key probably is remembering that AI is a tool, not a replacement for thinking. It can help us research, organize ideas, even spark curiosity. It certainly can create creativity or improve on creativity. However, conscious engagement means staying mentally present while using it. In NLP, we often talk about filters and attention. Where attention goes, energy flows. If someone starts relying on technology without thinking critically, their awareness can actually narrow. However, if they use it as a partner in learning, their thinking can expand. So conscious engagement means asking questions, evaluating information and remaining curious rather than passive. Occasionally stopping using it too, stepping away from the screen to remember that there's a whole physical world outside of the laptop's also a pretty good idea.
Amen on that, Chris. Yes, I'm always going out for my daily walks up to Shelley Beach and just enjoying the sunshine and not always being in conversations with my AI partnerships and things like that. And I do look at it like that as well. It's more of a partnership, a collaboration, and a personal assistant to me. And I look at like I'm a conductor. I'm a conductor of organizing information. I'm a conductor of music, and I'm a conductor of information coming through from all different places: spirit, AI, other people's energies, the collective consciousness, the other side. And I weave them all together, and I own that, and I present that in whatever form feels right at the time to whomever I'm in front of or whatever project I'm doing. Now let's hear from Karen.
To be really present in our being and connecting with ourselves in very conscious, aware ways, we're naturally going to interact with AI in that same way. If we're unconscious, we're going to interact very unconsciously. So again, it comes back to do my stuff, keep myself conscious and present, and I will interact in my entire world in that way.
So I think the biggest thing is remembering that AI should support your thinking, not replace it. Use it to explore ideas, learn new things, brainstorm, and expand your perspective. But always come back to yourself and ask, how does this feel for me? And does this resonate with my values? I see a lot of people asking AI questions that they should really be asking themselves first. The most conscious way to use AI is as a guide alongside your own intuition, not as the final answer to everything. We still need critical thinking, we still need self-awareness, and we still need that human connection.
100%. I think Sarah's just really summarised exactly what we've been talking about with this question. And so I'm going to move on to the third question, which is, what are the risks and opportunities of AI for spiritual or human development? First up, Linda.
Some people have built a construct around what it might mean for them, and they're scared of it. And I think that their fear is going to hold them back. You know, you and I both have learnt different modalities from all different people or different places all over the world. So we don't have that linear, that stuck in a box, this is what I have to be. Even to the point of when I said that when I do up on the seventh plane and I deal with theta, it doesn't go through me, it goes straight from the creator to the client. It comes unfiltered. But there's some people out there still that want it to go through their body so they can feel it. So there's always going to be people that are scared of change and scared of, and it's just a lack of knowledge sometimes. And I really feel like when you're in the spiritual world, you're not shown things that you're not supposed to use. It's either going to be a lesson or it's going to help you. And half the time, all the AI things that I was doing it even before the course that I've just done, it'd show up and I'd just know how to do them. And I'm like, thanks for that, because it's not me. I'm always shown and guided to where I need to go and on the path. So if you're getting shown something, learn it. It'll just open a new way of life for you, and you will take on what you need. You'll pick the eyes out of your subconscious, will just draw on what it needs for you.
Yes, if it's one thing I've learnt, Linda, is that we're an attractor. So, and as is peace. So the more we vibrate peace, the more we attract peace. And sometimes AI can be tools for peace. I'm sure that AI could be tools for fear too. And that's why I think it's very important to advocate for turning up to AI and implementing things into AI that can be interpreted as tools for peace. And I think that will land, as will other things and fear-based things. But if we counterweight them with the peaceful, then we're being part of the solution, not part of the problem. I think it's a big one. All right, let's hear from Leanne.
So risks, I've heard of numerous people popping into AI to develop a mediumship, and that's my area, a mediumship course, and then delivering it with no background, no knowledge, no expertise, no connection to spirit, and people going off to a weekend workshop and then thinking that they can actually sit and hold space for people's grief, loss, and trauma. And so I am horrified that people are doing that, because there is a human on the other side of mediumship, and there's a human on the other side energetically of mediumship that deserve to be honoured and respected in that space. And I'm really, really passionate about that.
I can feel your blood boiling from here, Leanne. I get it. Yeah, it's really just like, if I can do it, I will. That kind of irresponsible mentality where, you know, we're not really considering the impact of our intentions and behaviour. And maybe it's something that the person who wants to develop it is passionate about, but they haven't got the ethical base or foundation or groundedness around it to really understand the implications. And that is scary. I think it shines a light when those things happen, and the consequences of those things happen in society, where someone might actually have a really terrible experience from having done that will shed light on the way not to use AI, and I hope that educates us moving forward. Let's hear from Chris now.
Like most powerful tools, AI carries opportunities and risks. The opportunity is extraordinary. because it gives access to knowledge, and people can explore ideas and learn new skills and expand their thinking in ways that it was absolutely impossible even a few years ago. So when we look at, the risk is that people might mistake information for wisdom. Information's data. So wisdom requires reflection, experience, awareness, and AI can help organize information beautifully, but humans still need to bring in the insight, the ethics, and the emotional intelligence into the process. So in other words, technology can accelerate learning. However, it can't replace the human journey of understanding.
I don't think I have anything to add to that, Chris. That's amazing. Yeah, let's hear from Karen.
I guess the risks are that we stop using our own intuition, finding our own answers. You hop into ChatGPT and what am I meant to know now? So I think the risks are that we stop connecting with our own wisdom and intuition. But I think the benefits are when we're very conscious and we're interacting consciously, then we're going to listen consciously. We're going to, I guess, navigate it in a very different way and look at, does that align with me? Does it not align with me? So when we use it consciously, we're using it in a way that's very high vibrational.
Yeah, I agree. The risks are it disconnecting us from our intuition, and also the opportunities there are inspiring us to connect more to our intuition. And we need to decide how we're put together and how that works, and how AI can be an instigator and an inspirationer for our intuition. Okay, let's hear from Sarah. Jade.
So the opportunities are incredible. Never before have we had access to so much information, knowledge, creativity, and support at our fingertips. AI can help people learn, heal, create, write, build businesses, and access ideas that may have taken years to discover. The risk is that people start outsourcing their own wisdom. Spiritual growth isn't something AI can do for us. Self-awareness comes through experience, healing comes through experience, and growth comes from experience. AI can support the journey, but it can't walk it for us. I think the invitation right now is to use technology to become more human, not less human.
Yes, so true, Sarah, isn't it? It can't replace our journey. Make us more human. I love that. That's just such a beautiful, beautiful concept. How can we become more human in our lives, more full, more enriched, more in our day, in our presence, in our joy? And asking those kind of questions and engaging AI to help with that is really profound, actually, and really awesome and really exciting. All right, now on to where this leads, which is a really exciting question for me and probably my fave. How can AI be used as a tool for creativity and expansion? Okay, Linda, let's hear from you first.
Well, there's what do I say? There's a million things that you can do. Like I create songs. There was something on the other day, and I did a post and I went into this app that I've got, and I told whatever planetary alignment it was, and it made a song about it. So you've got not only visuals, you've got music, but I don't like the fact, like I don't do AI versions of me. So there'll be a picture, but I won't get an AI version of me to speak. I will always speak. It'll always come from me. And I think that it's a little bit dangerous that, you could be thinking that you're talking to somebody, or they have a video come up of a royalty or a superstar or something saying something that looks like them and it isn't them. That's where we've got to draw the line. But creative wise, we can do anything. We can paint, we can draw, we can write, we can music, we can do anything in all of the new senses. And why not? You'll find that what your niche is. I'm a reflector, so I try everything once.
I love that. I know the sky's the limit, right? Apart from all the ones I've mentioned earlier, I also designed a French teaching app for myself, to have conversations with myself, even though I do use other apps for educating myself. I just thought, I'm going to try and make an AI, not make an app. Sorry, it's like a beta testing AI thing to help you, and you can do things. I was even playing around with it for pieces of science and unified peace theory to see if we could help people like in that way. Who knows? I may or may not do that, but I just feel like the sky is the limit too, Linda. It's kind of just a lot of fun, especially if you're using it consciously, especially if you're using it to grow and wake up and heal and be more peaceful. Let's hear from Leanne.
So creativity, I mean, it's really awesome to help you put your ideas into place. And I know that people have used it for images and really, allowing yourself to tap into an image that you might have that you want to create in the physical world. If that's not one of your strengths and your skills, you can utilize AI in that way to get your vision across in a way that really aligns for you and fits and matches energetically. And in terms of expansion, even in that process, it helps expand your thinking and your critical thinking skills in particular, with looking at how you describe something visually that you want to have spat out the other end, if I can say it that way. So from even a mediumship perspective, we get a vision that we have to interpret and spit out. So it can help, I guess, with expanding that ability in some ways.
Yeah, so true. And like with my pieces of science cover, I said, I want this galaxy background. I want equations floating around that we actually use in the book. And I also want a peace ripple all the way through the middle. And it designed the cover for me. And I simply couldn't have done that with my own talent and skills as a person. I wouldn't really know where to start. And so, wow. And then when I got to do my covers, I'll put some of them up on this screen so that you can see them. When I got to do some of the covers for the album art, it really helped me with that as well. So I was able to say, hey, this is where I want peace to sit, and this is where I want, as a science to sit, or Peace Lounge, or my Peace dance album, or my Peace rock album, or my Peace rap album, where I want these to sit, and I want to have this scene or this kind of feel or this mood or what have you in the background. And it was really cool. It kind of created a template, and then was able to educate my AI with what mood and what feelings and what specifics I wanted around that. So it was really cool. So yeah, let's hear from Chris.
It can be incredibly useful. As a creative thinking partner, it can generate ideas, it can explore possibilities, it can help people see the patterns that they may not have noticed before. And in creative work, this can be really stimulating. However, the magic still comes from human imagination, because AI can suggest combinations of ideas. However, the emotional depth and storytelling and meaning still need to come from a human mind. So the most powerful way to use AI is collaborate with other people, and let it be helpful, and let it help you explore options, and then apply your own experience and intuition and creativity to shape the final outcome.
Collaboratory. That's the word. Yeah, exactly, Chris. Let's use it to collaborate and help us tap more into our own intuition and free us up from the burden of heavy information so that we can get to our intuition. I think that's a really big one. Now let's hear from Karen.
Well, I guess sometimes we can get stuck maybe finding ideas about expansiveness, creativity. So to be able to use AI to explore options could be an amazing thing. Could be options that we haven't thought of. And again, when we hear those and we're given the information where it's filtering through the lens of higher consciousness, of presence, of awareness.
Yeah, and there's so many tools that can help us with the expansion. I mean, in the early days, we had tarot card apps. Now we've got actual AIs that talk back and forward to us, and we can have conversations about dreams. I had a dream the other night, and it can say, well, do some research on what those symbols might mean for us, or things like that, or learn a bit more about mental health. I certainly did a lot of research on mental health for section 3 of my book, Pieces of Science, and we explored mental health, and we explored the patterns that surround mental health from a unified peace theory perspective, and how they actually fit within that framework, which was amazing to be able to map that. And also we did research on lots of expansiveness as well, like near-death experiences, coma, spiritual awakening, and mystical emergence, lots and lots of different topics. So it was really helpful for me in researching that book and tapping me into those areas of how AI can actually help us learn more about those. Now let's hear from Sarah Jade.
This area actually excites me the most. As someone who works in publishing, oracle decks, magazines, and creative projects, I see AI as an incredible creative partner. It can help spark ideas, overcome creative blocks, help us brainstorm, write, design, and bring concepts to life much faster than we could before. But the inspiration still comes from us. The stories, the experiences, the intuition, the wisdom, and the heart of all are from the human being. AI simply helps us express those things in different ways. I don't see AI replacing creativity. I see it as amplifying it.
100,000,000% agree, Sarah Jade. And I think if you've seen any of Sarah Jade's beautiful oracle decks, she actually has this idea of creating personalized oracle decks for people. So a whole deck will be around a person and what their way of doing their spiritual coaching, teaching, mentoring, assisting others. And so it'll be one person's face in different cards. It's amazing. And to be able to come up with that idea even is incredible. And I love the whole amplification idea. I really do. Because when we get out of the fear and we get aligned with peace and love, it becomes like an amplifier for more of it through these tools, through this creativity, and through this expansion. So it actually allows us to tap in faster and get it out quicker and get it out stronger. Now let's hear. So let's move on now to our last question, which is, what guidance do you have for listeners interacting with AI daily? Let's hear from Linda first.
Depends. If it's the AI that rings you up all the time at tea time and wants to sell you something, I'm pissed off with them as well. But normal AI, if you're dealing with it, ask us, and you're not liking it, so come from two places. So if you're dealing with AI, or you have to deal with AI and you don't like it, what's it making you feel like? Why is it making you feel like that? Are you feeling like that it's going to take your job? Are you feeling like inadequate because you don't understand it? And if you love it, then keep doing it. Learn more. Like, there's so many free courses out there that you can do to learn more and just to get the basic skills, So we're in that AI era now. It's only going to get bigger. No, actually, it's going to get better. I think as they work through the issues and stuff, you can all start to see now the big companies like Gemini AI and Chatty, and there's lots of other programs that I use. I can't think of any, but they're getting better and they're always updating. So it's something that you're going to have to, if you want to keep learning. It's not like it's not going to change. So find why you don't like it. If you don't like it, what's triggering you?
I agree, it'll get better, Linda. And at this point, I wouldn't mind actually reading a little bit out of the book on what I've written about this in Peace as a Science. Artificial intelligence, like any powerful technology, does not organise culture. It emerges from it, it learns from it, and it reflects it back to us. What we're interacting with is not only a tool that amplifies behaviour, but a system that is continuously shaped by the information, patterns and inputs we collectively contribute. Every question, response, refinement and creation becomes part of an ongoing learning field. This means we are not only using AI, we are participating in what it becomes. When the collective field is capable of nuance, reflection and repair, what is fed into these systems carries those qualities. Insights accumulate, perspective deepens, knowledge becomes more integrated. In that context, AI supports expansion, not by scaling information, but by organising and redistributing understanding. When the field is more fragmented, the same process still occurs. Patterns of certainty, reactivity, and distortion are also fed in, repeated, and returned, not because the system intends harm, but because it reflects what it is given. AI is not separate from the collective field. It is increasingly one of the ways that the field is stored, processed, and shared. The question is no longer only what AI does, it is what we are teaching it to reorganize, organize, and return. And then after this, I actually talk about the solutions, but I'm going to move on to Leanne. I'll leave it till the end so I don't hog the show. Let's hear from Leanne.
I would say to people, just be conscious and really present of how it feels, and be conscious and present of where that information comes from, because a lot of those AI tools can scan or crawl, if you look at it that from that technical perspective, people's websites to gather that information. So energetically and vibrationally, there is humans on the other end of that who've taken time, energy, resources to put that knowledge, wisdom in place. So I would say find the source of that information and honour it and respect it, and have integrity in amongst it. So if you're using it, say you used it.
Yes, and also use AI to tell you where it got its information from as well. You know, don't just accept the information, say, okay, thank you for this information, where did you get it? And then that way, if you are writing something, you can honour the contribution, because AI got it from somewhere. So you can then go, oh, great. And you can actually go and have a look at that and see if that matches up, and to see if, you know, you are actually able to add to that information and then still credit the person who has come up with that information as well, not just writing the information. Now let's hear from Chris.
Probably my biggest advice is to stay conscious of how you're using it, because technology is wonderful, but it can also become a distraction when we're not paying attention. For example, use AI to support learning, creativity, and problem solving. However, keep your own thinking active. Ask questions, challenge ideas, and stay curious. And perhaps most importantly, remember to maintain balance. So spend time having real conversation with real humans. Go outside occasionally and keep developing your own awareness, because AI can be a fantastic tool, but human consciousness is still the most powerful intelligence in the room.
Yeah, I agree. Human consciousness rocks, bitches. Look, I just want to be a bit fun here and say I actually sometimes use AIs not against each other, but to kind of compete with each other to give me the right answer. It's kind of fun. I asked ChatGPT to give me a review of my book Pieces of Science, and it gave me a really good review. And then I asked Claude to give me a review, and it gave me a review that was kind of a bit different. It's almost like I didn't read the whole book or whatever. And then I said, "Are you sure you read this section and that section, because it didn't sound like it?" And then it gave me a different review. And then I'd post ChatGPT's review in there and say, "This is what it said. Do you agree?" And then make it work. And then I'd ask Copilot for a review of my book, and then give that to ChatGPT and get them to comment on it. And then, yeah, I did all that. Anyway, that's cheeky, but I think it's good, because it's like you're still using your critical thinking, because you're dissecting, where's this information coming from? How are you reaching these conclusions? And I'm checking on you. Okay, let's hear from Karen.
I think stay so connected to your sense of being, of who you are, being really conscious about who you are, of what aligns, what doesn't align. And if you do that, you'll use AI in a way that's very balanced and very in alignment with you, supportive of your growth, not taking away from it.
Karen, that's such a sensible approach and much less cheeky to what I'm doing. Not really. I mean, I think there's ways to get to what aligns with you, and I think checking up on things is a good way. To do that. It's a way to go. I'm double checking, I'm triple checking, all the parts of me are checking, and making sure this resonates, and that's okay. All right, let's hear from Sarah Jade.
Okay, so my biggest piece of guidance is this: don't give your power away. Use AI as a tool. Use it to learn, use it to create, use it to save time, use it to explore possibilities, but don't stop listening to yourself. Your intuition matters, your life experience matters, your discernment matters. AI can provide information, but only you can decide what is true for you. The future isn't about choosing between humans and AI. It's about learning how to work with technology in a way that supports our creativity and growth and our humanity. If we can do that, I think AI has the potential to be one of the most powerful tools and expansion we've ever seen.
Yes, exactly. We got to make sure that we stay true to ourselves and make sure that we're grounded in our own reality. It's so important. So I'd like to now just end this podcast with a little bit of information on the application of positivity towards AI, as I wrote in Pieces of Science. At the level of participation, this means becoming aware of what we bring into interaction. Not only the questions we ask, but the quality of attention, intention, and thought behind them. AI does not respond only to information, it reflects patterns. Over time, those patterns accumulate. We are not just extracting answers, we are contributing signal. This includes what we create as well as what we consume. Writing, refining, questioning, and sharing thoughtful work all become part of the broader informational field these systems draw from. Knowledge is not only retrieved, it is continually built. AI does not generate higher order awareness on its own. It does not originate what we describe as 7D awareness, but it can reflect and amplify what's fed into it. As we bring more coherence, perspective, and awareness into our interactions, those patterns shape what AI generates and returns. In this way, it becomes part of a feedback loop, not creating the field, but redistributing it, with what is prioritized becoming what is more visible over time. The stabilizing move is intentional contribution, bringing clarity before generating, perspective before certainty, using AI not to confirm what we already believe, but to explore, refine, and deepen understanding. Take this book as an example. As this research enters these systems, it becomes part of the information field that can be drawn upon to support others, offering more coherent, thoughtful, and peaceful ways of understanding, responding, and relating. The ideas do not stay contained. They become available. As this feedback loop strengthens, what we collectively value more easily influences what is produced and returned. The system is shaped not only by stored data, but by ongoing participation. What we bring in flows back out. So I'm going to end it there, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of AI and higher awareness, and I look forward to our next week's episode, which we delve a little bit into the technology side and media and how we actually give our attention to things as well, and how it all affects our energy and our consciousness, and how we can notice patterns around our attention and our focus, and reclaiming our presence while using technology, and how our conscious engagement with media may support our personal growth, and any micro practices or daily habits that we can inject into our lives to support us with media and technology and increasing our higher awareness. So I hope that you can join us. Take care. Big lots of love to you all, and have fun creating everything that you need to create to make your life and your journey more integrated and aligned. Big blessings to you all.
Magic is what happens